Chosen one, you have arrived at this moment not by accident, but by divine design. This message has found its way to you right on time, not a minute early, not a second too late. It's been carried by spiritual alignment, moved through unseen currents, and placed into your hands as confirmation. You're not just watching, you are being summoned. Something greater has always been calling your name, and today that call becomes undeniable. As we begin, I want to pause and say, from the deepest part of my heart, thank you to every single soul who has supported this mission through Super Thanks. Your generosity helps these sacred messages reach further, touch deeper, and awaken more of the chosen across the world. Whether you've donated before, feel called to today, or simply showed up and listened, please know that your presence alone is a blessing. You are seen, you are appreciated, you are loved. Now, let's return to the message that brought you here. Chosen one, as you sit with me now, feel the weight of this moment. The divine is pulling back the curtain, not to show you something new, but to remind you of something ancient. This is not the beginning of your journey, it's a remembrance, a sacred echo that brings clarity to the path you've already been walking. You've felt it for years, haven't you? That deep inner knowing that you are different. That silent, haunting sense that no matter how hard you tried to blend in, you were never truly part of the crowd. Even in rooms filled with people, your soul often felt alone. Even among laughter, your spirit still longed for something more. You've watched others build lives with ease, while your path has been winding, isolated, and marked with spiritual fire. But what if I told you that was the plan all along? What if your loneliness was really training? What if your isolation was really preservation? What if every delay, every rejection, every quiet night was divine protection? You were never meant to move like the masses. You were meant to rise beyond them. Chosen one, you carry something sacred, something the world cannot define, but heaven has recognized. Your energy is rare, your presence is prophetic. Your vibration is not just higher, it's holy. And because of that, you cannot be around everyone. You cannot absorb what others absorb, tolerate what others tolerate, or move through life the way they do. Your soul is too sensitive. Your spirit is too refined. Your mission is too important. Have you ever walked into a crowded room and felt like the very air changed, like your chest tightened, your mind scattered, your light dimmed? That is not anxiety. That is not weakness. That is spiritual discernment, sounding the alarm. That's the divine saying, this energy is not for you. You were born to carry light into the darkness, but that light must be protected. And so, the divine placed invisible restrictions on your journey. You've been shielded by silence, hidden in plain sight, moved by an unseen hand, away from people who were never meant to carry your frequency. You have been set apart, not to be punished, but to be preserved. This message today is your mirror. It's a key, a revelation sent to unlock the next phase of your awakening. And if your heart is thundering right now, if you feel that inner resonance, you already know this is for you. This isn't just information, this is confirmation. Comment 999 down below if you feel your spirit leaning into this truth. If you've been walking this path in silence, in solitude, wondering why you are the way you are, say it loud today. I am chosen. I am rising. I am remembering. Chosen one, you were never meant to be swallowed by the noise of the crowd. You were meant to rise above the confusion, to lead others back to truth, to awaken what has long been asleep. And this message is the beginning of that unfolding. So stay with me. What I'm about to share next will not only make sense of your past, it will anchor your present and prepare you for your future. We are about to enter into the sacred why behind your solitude and the divine purpose in your distance. You are not lost. You are being positioned. Let's continue. God's chosen ones. This is why you can't be around too many people. A spiritual truth. You must know. Chosen one, your destiny is calling. Can you feel it deep in your bones, even when you can't explain why? Have you ever sat in silence, wondering why everything around you seems so loud, so fake, so far from the truth your soul is aching for? There's a reason for this dissonance, and that reason is you. You're not just different, you're set apart. Let us now uncover who you truly are at the deepest level. You've heard this term many times, the chosen one. But have you ever paused long enough to truly grasp the magnitude of what that means? Have you fully absorbed the weight and wonder of being divinely marked, consecrated, and sent here by God Himself? This is not a title meant to make you feel special in a worldly way. It's not some ego trip or a lofty label to wear as armor. No, chosen one, this is a divine ordination. It is a sacred covenant sealed before time began. To be chosen is to walk a path that others will never understand, a path that pierces through illusion, a path woven with purpose, with burden, and with tremendous spiritual responsibility. You were not meant to fit in because you were meant to lead. Before your first breath, the blueprint of your soul was written in heaven's ink. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, says the Lord in Jeremiah 1:5. You were predestined for divine assignments, crafted not merely to exist, but to disrupt darkness with your light. You are a vessel, you are a messenger, you are the storm walker, the intercessor, the bridge between the visible and the invisible realms. That strange sense of always being different, that's not your imagination, it's confirmation. You've been chosen to walk between dimensions, between heaven's whispers and the world's chaos. While others are mesmerized by illusions, you have the sight to see beyond the veil. Your perception cuts through masks, through energy fields, through lies spoken without a word. And what does that cost you? Everything. You can sense when someone's spirit doesn't match their smile. You feel tension in rooms where others only see polite conversation. That is not paranoia, it is discernment. The gift of spiritual perception, though powerful, often becomes a painful sword. It separates you from the crowd. But in that isolation, chosen one, lies your elevation. Even Jesus Himself understood this pain of separation. In Matthew 13:57, He said, "A prophet is not without honor, save in his own country and in his own house." You were never meant to be understood by the masses. In fact, the more deeply you awaken, the fewer people will be able to walk beside you. Do you remember how early it started? The way you noticed lies even as a child. The way your heart ached when others laughed at cruelty. While your peers were caught up in shallow pursuits, your soul longed for something deeper, something eternal. That yearning wasn't weakness, it was your anointing knocking on the door of your awareness. There's a reason your journey has been heavier than most. You carry burdens others can't even perceive. You've walked through pain that should have broken you, but you didn't just survive, you transformed. And that pain wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Romans 8:18 tells us, "For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us." Do you ever feel like you're carrying something no one else can see? That invisible weight isn't a curse. It's the mark of someone chosen for sacred duty. It's why you don't belong in every room, why every relationship doesn't work, and why your soul recoils when you're around certain energies. You're not rejecting the world. You're being protected from it. Look at Harriet Tubman, born into slavery, beaten, oppressed, hunted, but she still heard God's voice and followed it fearlessly. She wasn't just escaping chains for herself. She was chosen to be a deliverer. Chosen ones always become a threat to systems built on lies. Look at Nikola Tesla, who said, "My brain is only a receiver. In the universe there is a core from which we obtain knowledge." He wasn't crazy, he was a conduit. He lived in spiritual solitude, misunderstood by society, because he was accessing frequencies they weren't ready for, just like you. And look at Florence Nightingale, who rejected a life of luxury to answer a divine call that society mocked. She changed the world, not because she fit in, but because she refused to. Chosen ones are never remembered for conforming. They're remembered for awakening what others tried to keep asleep. You, chosen one, were designed to detect what others ignore, to sense storms before they form, to shine light when others panic. When the winds rise, you're not the one who hides, you're the one who stands. Your courage isn't from this world. It was installed in your spirit long before your body was born. Isaiah 6:8 records a moment when God asked, "Whom shall I send and who will go for us?" The chosen ones always respond the same way. "Here am I, send me." That's why you feel pulled to things others run from. That's why you're drawn to higher truth, even when it hurts. Your spiritual awakening isn't a coincidence. It's a signal that your assignment has activated. The dreams, the synchronicities, the sudden knowing, the way certain people fall away right before you level up. Those are not accidents. You are on divine schedule, and the more you awaken, the more this world will feel foreign. You'll start to see it clearly, not as your home, but as your mission field. You were sent here with a frequency that doesn't match this system because you're here to reprogram it. Philippians 3:20 reminds you, "For our conversation is in heaven, from whence also we look for the Savior." You're carrying ancient wisdom in a modern disguise. You've been refined through betrayal, through loneliness, through sleepless nights. But every fire you endured has only revealed more of your radiance. The refining pot is for silver and the furnace for gold, but the Lord trieth the hearts. Proverbs 17:3. That trial you went through, it wasn't to break you, it was to reveal you. Your frequency is rare, your light is uncontainable. That's why you feel spiritual resistance when you try to shrink yourself. That's why others feel uneasy around you. They see something they can't name. It's the holy fire inside you, and no matter how much they try to dim it, it burns brighter. You don't need to explain who you are anymore. You just need to remember. This world needs what you carry, and the very things that once made you feel alien are the very marks of your divine assignment. Chosen one, have you ever wondered why your soul doesn't resonate with the noise of the crowd? Why your energy seems to repel chaos, confusion, and superficiality, even when all you want is to connect? What if I told you that this discomfort isn't rejection, it's revelation? What if the very things that isolate you are the same signs that confirm your calling? You are what the ancient texts described in hushed reverence: the remnant, the prophets, the anointed ones, the watchmen on the wall. You were not created to follow trends. You were born to disrupt patterns. You were chosen by God before your first breath ever touched this world. Ephesians 1:4 affirms this truth. He chose us in Him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and blameless before Him. Long before your physical body entered this realm, your spirit was already known in the courts of heaven. You were predestined to walk this path, to continue a lineage of spiritual warriors that have walked before you. Seers who could perceive the unseen, sages who understood divine timing, healers who mended wounds with presence alone, and teachers who shattered ignorance with truth. You, chosen one, are part of that sacred bloodline, not by DNA, but by spiritual inheritance. The loneliness you've carried, the separation from the crowd that once made you question your worth, that was never punishment, it was preparation. Every isolated season was a classroom. Every moment of silence was an initiation. Luke 5:16 reminds us, "But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed." Even Christ needed the wilderness to prepare for his mission. Why should your process be any different? When you were excluded, it was protection. When people walked away, it wasn't rejection. It was the divine clearing your path. The weight of your destiny is not something everyone can carry. That's why God didn't allow everyone to walk beside you. He hid you in plain sight, guarding your energy from contamination. You may not have seen it at the time, but heaven has always known what's at stake. Look at Joan of Arc. At 17, she led armies after being mocked, doubted, and called insane. She didn't wait for validation. She acted on divine instruction, even when surrounded by disbelief. That's the nature of the chosen. Faith louder than fear. Or look at Bob Marley, misunderstood by many, but his message pierced through global consciousness like prophecy wrapped in melody. He said, "The people who were trying to make this world worse are not taking the day off. Why should I?" That's the urgency of a soul on divine assignment. And consider Sojourner Truth, a woman born into slavery, yet destined to shake the foundations of oppression. Her words didn't come from education or privilege. They came from divine revelation. She once declared, "The Spirit calls me and I must go." That's what it means to be chosen. You don't follow logic, you follow the call. You were never meant to blend in because your spirit was calibrated for higher frequencies. The Most High placed his mark upon you. 2 Timothy 2:21 says, "If a man therefore purge himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified, and meet for the Master's use." You are such a vessel, consecrated, set apart for holy use. That's why you can't be like everyone else, even when you try. Your energy is not for consumption, it's for consecration. You're not here to be liked, you're here to be light. The Most High didn't anoint you for applause. He anointed you to awaken, to disrupt, to realign. That's why popularity will never satisfy you, because you're not here to entertain souls. You're here to rescue them. You are a lighthouse, not a cruise ship. Your presence is not for comfort, it's for clarity. Have you noticed how some people look at you like they can't quite figure you out? That's because you carry a frequency their spirit recognizes, but their mind can't explain. You withdraw not because you're antisocial, but because the noise of the world drowns out the voice of God, and your spirit refuses to lose that connection. That's discernment. That's obedience. That's power. Exodus 33:16 reveals Moses pleading with God, "How will anyone know that you are pleased with me unless you go with us? What else will distinguish me and your people from all the other people on the face of the earth?" Chosen one, your distinction is divine. Your separation is your seal. Stop mourning what heaven is celebrating. You've often asked, "Why me?" But now, the answer is no longer hidden. It's written in every trial you survived, every lie you discerned, every moment you kept walking when others gave up. It's because you are marked, you're needed, and you're divinely assigned to a mission no one else can fulfill. The Most High didn't choose you because you were perfect. He chose you because you were willing. And because of this, your life will never look like theirs. The crowds will misunderstand you. Friends will fall away. You will be labeled too much by those who have settled for too little. But don't shrink. Don't compromise. You're not here to be understood. You're here to be obeyed. Psalm 4:3 declares, "Know that the Lord has set apart the godly for himself. The Lord hears when I call to him." That is your covering. Even in silence, heaven hears you. Even in solitude, angels walk with you. When you cry alone, the Holy Spirit collects every tear. The crowd may not see you, but heaven never takes its eyes off you. So, chosen one, will you accept this truth not just in theory, but in action? Will you stop asking for permission to walk in the fullness of what God already authorized? Will you stop apologizing for a light that was never meant to be dimmed? This path you're on is not easy, but it is holy. The discomfort you feel in crowded rooms isn't rudeness, it's spiritual allergy. Your spirit cannot thrive in environments that are not aligned with truth. And that's not something to fix, that's something to honor. As we move deeper into this sacred revelation, your spirit is about to receive clarity it has long yearned for. The next truth will not just explain your loneliness, it will validate your design. It will confirm why your soul refuses to settle. It will reveal why certain rooms make you shrink, why your silence often speaks louder than the noise around you, and why your presence alone shakes the atmosphere. Chosen one, have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt like you didn't belong? Not because of what anyone said, but because of what your spirit felt. Have you ever stood in a crowd, smiling on the outside, but deep down your chest tightened, your soul felt heavy, and something inside whispered, "You're not supposed to be here"? That's not social anxiety. That's not overthinking. That's spiritual intelligence. There is an invisible, yet undeniable, energetic misalignment between you and the masses. It's not something you created, it's something you were born into. You're not just physically different, chosen one. You're spiritually encoded to vibrate on a frequency that is rare, potent, and holy. Most people around you operate from a vibration conditioned by fear, ego, competition, and inherited trauma. But you've been activated by a divine call, and this activation has completely restructured your entire energetic field. This is what sets you apart. Romans 12:2 reminds us, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." You, chosen one, have already undergone this transformation. You're no longer tuned into the chaos of the world, you are aligned with the frequency of heaven. And that shift is what creates the spiritual dissonance you feel daily. The result is a subtle yet powerful repulsion. Your light stirs what has long been dormant in others. Your peace irritates their unrest. Your authenticity threatens the illusions they've built their lives around. Have you ever wondered why certain places feel heavy, even when nothing appears wrong on the surface? Or why your energy feels drained after interacting with people who seem harmless? This is the silent spiritual war your soul faces every single day. You are not imagining this discomfort. This is divine discernment at work. 1 Corinthians 2:14 says, "The person without the Spirit does not accept the things that come from the Spirit of God, and cannot understand them because they are discerned only through the Spirit." Your spiritual senses are awakened. You feel the undercurrents of emotion and intent, even when words haven't been spoken. When you enter a space clouded with bitterness, hidden jealousy, or spiritual stagnancy, your spirit detects it like a radar picking up on unseen frequencies. This gift isn't a flaw, it's your divine technology. You've been spiritually upgraded, chosen one. While the masses are programmed by media, generational curses, fear-based thinking, and cultural conditioning, you've been deprogrammed by God's Spirit and recalibrated to truth. That's why their energy feels foreign. That's why gossip, envy, judgment, and spiritual slumber drain you. That's why even well-meaning people often don't get you. Think about Mother Teresa. She walked through slums saturated with suffering, yet she radiated healing. Not because she fit in, but because her frequency transcended her environment. Or consider Prince, the musical legend. His presence was magnetic, yet otherworldly. He was often called weird or eccentric, but he never dimmed his energy to make others comfortable. He once said, "I never meant to cause you any sorrow. I only wanted to see you laughing in the purple rain." His frequency wasn't for everyone, but it changed everything. And look at Harriet Beecher Stowe, whose spiritual sensitivity led her to pen Uncle Tom's Cabin, igniting a national reckoning over slavery. Her writing made some uncomfortable, but that discomfort stirred awakening. Like her, you don't even have to say much. Your presence alone shifts atmospheres. That's why you're often misunderstood, dismissed, or even rejected without cause. The truth is, chosen one, your frequency is like light in a room full of shadows. People may not see it consciously, but their spirits recognize it. And when the conscious mind can't comprehend the spiritual signal, it often responds with fear. That fear becomes projection. It becomes resistance, sometimes even hostility. John 3:20 gives us insight. Everyone who does evil hates the light and will not come into the light for fear that their deeds will be exposed. You're not doing anything wrong, but your light exposes what others have spent their lives trying to hide, even from themselves. That's why you may be labeled too much, too intense, or too deep. That's why friends may fade away and strangers may stare at you like they know you, but don't understand how. You're walking proof that truth exists beyond the surface and that threatens the illusion many are clinging to. This is also why you attract both seekers and opposers. Those who are ready to awaken will be drawn to you like moths to a flame, but those still hiding from themselves may feel triggered by you without knowing why. You didn't ask to be a mirror, chosen one, but your energy reflects what's real, whether others are ready to face it or not. Matthew 5:14-16 declares, "You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." Your presence alone carries divine authority. You don't have to speak to shift a room. You are the shift. But here's the part many miss. This calling isn't without cost. Every time your higher frequency enters a low vibration environment, it creates spiritual friction. Like oil and water, your spirit was never meant to merge with what is impure. That's why your energy feels drained after certain social gatherings. That's why random people project their wounds onto you. That's why you walk away from some interactions feeling like you've just fought a war, even when no one raised a voice. It's not personal, it's spiritual. The unease they feel around you isn't about your personality, it's about your purity. And the more refined your frequency becomes, the more narrow your path will feel. This isn't isolation, it's consecration. Isaiah 61 commands, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." You were never meant to hide your radiance. You were never meant to dull your frequency just to be accepted. You were made to illuminate. And illumination often brings exposure before it brings appreciation. So, chosen one, don't apologize for being hard to understand. Don't explain away your spiritual radar. Don't doubt the feelings that arise in your spirit before your mind has words for them. You are tuned in for a reason. You've been placed here as a spiritual disruptor, a divine recalibrator, a living reminder that truth still lives among us. The discomfort you cause isn't because you are wrong, it's because you are right on time. Now take a moment, reflect. Who are the people and places that constantly leave you feeling drained? What energies is your spirit warning you about right now, even if your logic hasn't caught up yet? What if your discomfort is your divine compass, pointing you away from counterfeit connections and toward your true assignment? Chosen one, has it ever confused you how complete strangers will look into your eyes and suddenly pour out their deepest fears, their unspoken wounds, or their buried secrets within minutes of meeting you? Have you ever noticed how people seem drawn to your presence, as if it brings them peace? And then, just as quickly, they withdraw when your truth reflects back something they aren't ready to face. This, beloved soul, is the hidden cost of carrying divine energy in a world drowning in spiritual amnesia. Your spirit acts like a mirror, not just reflecting someone's outer image, but their deepest emotional truths. And not everyone is ready for that kind of exposure. Some will mistake your presence as healing until it starts to challenge their illusions. Some will call you too intense when your light begins to disturb their darkness. But you were never meant to be soft on the truth. You were designed to reveal it. This energetic tension, this subtle discomfort others feel in your presence, is part of your divine protection. The Most High has intentionally designed your frequency so that you cannot fully merge with the collective. 1 Peter 2:9 declares, "But you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for his own possession." You were never meant to blend into the background. You were meant to stand out, because God has ownership over your life. This is why certain friendships never lasted, why romantic connections broke down, even when the love felt strong, why environments that once felt warm suddenly feel heavy and dissonant. It's not because you're broken, it's because you're evolving. And as your vibration elevates, anything that isn't aligned must fall away. You've likely felt it, an invisible pull drawing you back to solitude, especially after being surrounded by too many people. That's not depression. That's your spirit retreating to preserve its purity. It's your divine intelligence saying, I'm enough. Come away and be restored. Every time you re-enter the quiet, every time you step back into sacred solitude, the Most High meets you there. He washes the residue of the world from your spirit and realigns your soul with heaven's pulse. Chosen one, this isolation is not a sentence, it is your sanctuary. It is where the Most High whispers the blueprints of your assignment. Psalm 91:1 says, "He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." That secret place is where you are being recharged. Without it, your light would dim. Without it, your spirit would get entangled in chaos that was never yours to carry. Do you understand now why your presence often unsettles people, even when you say nothing? Why you find yourself drained after being around certain groups, or why the company of too many voices begins to drown out your own inner truth? This is not emotional weakness. It is divine discernment. You're not antisocial. You're heaven-calibrated. The world is a symphony, yes, but not all instruments are tuned to the same frequency. And yours was tuned by heaven itself. That's why your energy doesn't always harmonize with the masses. But that sound you emit, your divine frequency, is what cuts through confusion and reminds people that they were made for more. Look at Emily Dickinson, the poet who rarely left her home, yet left behind a body of work that still awakens spirits. She lived in solitude, not because she was disconnected, but because she was divinely connected, too finely attuned to waste her essence on noise. Or look at George Washington Carver, the scientist and prophet of agriculture. He'd wake before sunrise to talk with God in the woods, receiving divine downloads that revolutionized farming. His solitude wasn't isolation, it was communication. And consider Simone Weil, the French mystic and philosopher. She once said, "Attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity." She withdrew from the world not out of fear, but to tune her attention fully toward the divine. In the same way, chosen one, your soul rejects distraction not because you're escaping life, but because you are anchoring heaven. Isaiah 30:15 affirms it. "In returning and rest you shall be saved. In quietness and trust shall be your strength." Every time you pull away from the crowd, you're being drawn into the heart of God. In your silence, you receive strength. In your solitude, you recover clarity. It is in these moments that your gifts sharpen, your intuition strengthens, your vision clears, and your discernment becomes razor sharp. This is the pattern of the chosen. Moses was sent to the wilderness. Elijah hid in caves. Christ himself withdrew to the mountains, to the garden, to sacred spaces, where heaven could pour into him without resistance. You are not alone in this design. You are aligned with the legacy of every prophet, sage, and anointed one who ever walked before you. Chosen one, hear this clearly. God has allowed this isolation because there are things he must reveal to you in secret, mysteries too sacred for the noise of the crowd. That's why certain people had to leave. That's why certain doors stayed shut no matter how hard you knocked. Because one wrong connection could siphon your power. One distraction could sabotage your divine path. So when you find yourself alone, understand this. You are in training. You are being fortified. You are in the sacred chamber where warriors are forged. This is where your dependency on the world dies, and your dependency on God is born. James 4:8 tells us, "Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you." In your solitude, you are not abandoned. You are encountered. You've probably noticed it already, how much more sensitive you become in quiet, how downloads of wisdom come like lightning bolts when you're alone, how your body, your intuition, your dreams all become clearer when the outside noise is gone. That is not coincidence. That is divine access. Your isolation is your open heaven. It is the altar where the Most High kneels beside you, whispering secrets no one else can hear. And in that space, your soul is no longer diluted. It is consecrated, set apart, holy. In these seasons of quiet, the veil lifts. The truth of people's hearts is revealed. Their masks fall off. Their true alignment becomes visible, not through words, but through energy. And in that sacred knowing, you're no longer deceived. You become immovable. So, chosen one, no matter how lonely it feels, know this: you are never truly alone. While the world may misunderstand your silence, heaven recognizes it as sacred communication. While others may pity your isolation, God uses it as a portal for transformation. The divine walks with you. Angels are assigned to you. You are being watched, covered, guided, not just for your sake, but for the souls you were sent to help. Because when your training is complete, when your discernment is sharp, and your spirit is whole, you will return to the world, not to fit in, but to lead it back to truth. Now take a breath, reflect. What if the solitude you once resented is actually the sacred doorway to your next elevation? What if this hidden season is preparing you for a future so powerful it had to be forged in secret? Chosen one, stay close. The next revelation will show you how to move through the world as a chosen one, shielded, refined, and divinely equipped. Heaven is still speaking, and what's coming next will unlock dimensions within you that you've only glimpsed in dreams. Chosen one, have you ever cried out in a season of silence, feeling as if the heavens were closed, wondering why your soul walks alone while others walk in packs? Have you ever mistaken your isolation for divine neglect? If so, hear this now. You are more protected now than you have ever been. The world may not see you, but heaven has always known your name. You were never abandoned. You were hidden. This sacred separation that surrounds you is not a curse. It is a shield, a divine firewall between your spirit and the invisible wars being waged around you. You may not always see the spiritual warfare, but it intensifies every time your light expands. Crowded places, chaotic energies, and the unconscious minds of the masses create portals, entry points for confusion, distraction, manipulation, and spiritual interference. And because your soul is a radiant beacon, it not only draws the righteous, it also attracts those who wish to dim your glow. That's why the Most High cloaks you in solitude. That's why He's closed certain doors, removed certain people, and rerouted your path through wilderness roads. Psalm 27:5 says, "For in the time of trouble He shall hide me in His pavilion. In the secret of His tabernacle shall He hide me." Your solitude is His hiding place for you, a place of safety, of renewal, of preparation. Before elevation comes separation. Before revelation comes isolation. This is divine order. It's the pattern of the prophets, the rhythm of the anointed. When God prepares to raise someone up, He first pulls them away. You've likely cried out, "Lord, why am I alone?" But could it be that your isolation was the answer to your own prayer for protection? Even now you may carry the weight of unanswered companionship, the ache of feeling unseen, misunderstood, or forgotten. But that silence, that was God drawing you closer. He wasn't ignoring you. He was filtering out every voice except His. Hosea 2:14 tells us, "Therefore I am now going to allure her. I will lead her into the wilderness and speak tenderly to her." This is your wilderness, chosen one, and heaven is speaking softly here. Pressure builds in these lonely places, but that pressure isn't punishment, it's purpose. Diamonds are made beneath mountains, hidden in darkness, shaped by time and intensity. So are you. In these quiet seasons, your soul is undergoing transformation, your empathy is being refined, your discernment is being sharpened, your vessel is being prepared. You may ask, but why does it feel so hard? Why does peace require so much solitude? Look at Vincent van Gogh, the artist whose spirit bled color onto canvas while the world misunderstood him. His isolation didn't kill his gift, it magnified it. Or Nikola Tesla, who spent years in spiritual solitude, developing technologies and insights that still shape our lives today. They weren't ordinary. They were tuned into something higher, just like you. And don't forget Corrie ten Boom, who hid Jewish families during World War II and was imprisoned for it. Her isolation in a concentration camp could have broken her. Instead, it made her a vessel of compassion. After the war, she forgave her captors and led others to Christ. Her soul survived the darkness because she was spiritually aligned with the light. You, chosen one, are not in exile. You are in consecration. God has not silenced you. He's shaping you. There is a reason He has limited your access to crowds. You are not like the masses. You do not have the same spiritual architecture. Your empathy isn't just emotional, it's prophetic. You feel what others bury. You hear what others ignore. You absorb what others project. And that is both your gift and your weight. Your heightened empathic sensitivity is not an accident. It is the fingerprint of God on your soul. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt the anxiety, anger, or heartbreak that no one was speaking of? Have you ever been overwhelmed in noisy environments, not because of sound, but because of the spiritual density? You are not imagining it. You are reading the room in the Spirit. Proverbs 20:27 says, "The spirit of man is the lamp of the Lord, searching all his innermost parts." Your spirit is constantly scanning, processing energies, intentions, atmospheres. Most people are blind to this, but you feel it like wind against your skin. This is why you can't be around too many people. It's not introversion, it's protection, it's spiritual wisdom. Crowds exhaust you not because you're weak, but because you are processing a frequency they cannot perceive. You've walked away from parties, meetings, or even family gatherings feeling heavy, anxious, or emotionally fatigued, because your spirit was absorbing the unspoken pain in the room. This is the empath's burden. Without boundaries, you become a sponge for other people's pain. Without awareness, you become a resting place for what others are unwilling to heal. This is why God has pulled you into solitude, not to deprive you, but to reset you. Chosen one, understand this. Your empathy is a divine radar. It allows you to see through deception, to read between lines, to discern hidden motives. But if left unguarded, it becomes a doorway for emotional vampires. People sense your energy and come not to pour into you, but to drain you. This is why you attract broken people. Why strangers feel safe telling you things they've never shared with anyone. why you feel emotionally heavy after casual conversations. Your energy offers sanctuary, and that's beautiful. But you must also create boundaries, because not every soul who comes to you was sent by God. Some are drawn to your light only to dim it. Proverbs 4:23 commands, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." Guarding your energy isn't selfish, it's sacred. You are not called to carry the world. You are called to guide it. You were not designed to hold everyone's burdens. You were designed to illuminate the path to healing. In solitude, you are recharged. In stillness, your gift is refined. In sacred separation, you become stronger, more intuitive, more aligned. This is why your isolation is not punishment, it's maintenance. Without it, your energy would be compromised. Without it, your empathy would be contaminated. Have you noticed how prophetic insight flows stronger when you're alone? How dreams, revelations, and divine downloads come clearer in the quiet? That is not coincidence. That is your sacred altar being activated, so now you understand. Your spiritual withdrawal is your divine realignment. Your solitude is your consecration. Your empathy is your compass, not a weakness, but a weapon. Chosen one, your heart is open, but it must also be protected. You are not cold, you are wise. You are not detached, you are discerning. Your sensitivity is not for this world, it is for the world you were sent to build. As we move into the next revelation, we will explore how to wield your empathic gifts with power and balance, so that you do not merely survive as a sensitive soul, but thrive as a spiritual warrior, walking in discernment, purpose, and divine power. Chosen one, have you ever felt torn between your heart and your mission, between your empathy and your clarity, between pouring into others and preserving your own peace? This tension is not your weakness, it's your spiritual refinement. You walk a sacred line between compassion and completion. You are called to love, yes, but not to lose yourself in the wounds of others. You are called to heal, yes, but not to carry pain that was never yours to bear. Ecclesiastes 3:7 says, "A time to keep silence and a time to speak." You, chosen one, are being taught the divine balance between giving and guarding. Your empathic heart is one of your greatest gifts, but without boundaries, it becomes an open gate for spiritual interference. This is why the divine often removes you from chaotic spaces, loud crowds, or emotionally draining relationships. It is not rejection, it is a divine strategy to preserve your energy for the moments when your light is truly needed. Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling heavy, even though nothing offensive was said? Have you ever preferred the company of your own thoughts because being around others felt like spiritual suffocation? That is not social awkwardness. That is your empathic radar alerting you. You are spiritually sensitive in a world that celebrates numbness. While others are comfortable in noise, you crave sacred stillness. While others overlook energy, you absorb it. You sense grief behind smiles, tension behind small talk, and hidden motives behind kind words. This is not paranoia. This is your spirit seeing beyond the veil. And it is this gift that makes your isolation not optional, but essential. Even Christ himself felt this divide. Mark 6:31 tells us, "And he said to them, 'Come away by yourselves to a desolate place and rest a while.'" The greatest healer in history still needed moments of solitude to reset, recharge, and realign. How much more must you honor the same rhythm? Look at Emily Bronte, who chose seclusion over social scenes and wrote from the stillness of the moors, her soul untouched by the chaos of the crowd. Or Maya Deren, the visionary filmmaker who created spiritual masterpieces, not in fame's spotlight, but in silent devotion to her inner compass. Or Harriet Tubman, whose divine mission to deliver slaves began in secret solitude, with visions and prophetic dreams that could not bloom in busy places. They understood, as you now must, clarity is a spiritual compass, and confusion is its greatest enemy. You may wonder why your spirit recoils in crowded rooms, why you feel spiritually scattered after too much interaction. It's because your inner world must stay clear for divine instructions to land. You are not just existing, you're executing a heavenly blueprint. Isaiah 30:21 declares, "Your ears shall hear a word behind you, saying, 'This is the way, walk in it,' when you turn to the right or when you turn to the left." But how can you hear that voice if you are surrounded by noise? Chosen one, your mission is too precise to allow interference. You are not here to follow the crowd. You are here to rise above it. Every word you speak, every place you enter, every connection you allow, either sharpens your discernment or scatters your focus. That's why the divine removes you from environments where your frequency would be distorted. Do you see it now? The very restlessness you feel when surrounded by distractions is God's way of calling you back to alignment. He is not punishing you with loneliness. He is protecting your clarity. In solitude, you are given divine downloads, strategy, revelation, hidden truth, messages that would never reach you in noisy environments. While others are seduced by the trends of the day, your soul is tuned to eternity. While others blend in, you break through. But beware, distractions are one of the enemy's most subtle weapons. When the devil cannot destroy a chosen one, he will attempt to dilute them, to scatter their focus, to fill their life with unnecessary drama, social obligations, and toxic connections that drain the spirit and blur the vision. This is why you've felt disconnected from circles you once cherished, why doors closed without explanation, why some people left your life even though you still cared. It wasn't sabotage, it was sacred pruning. John 15:2 says, "Every branch that does bear fruit he prunes so that it will be even more fruitful." God is not taking from you, he's preparing you. He's removing what would cloud your next level. You're being groomed for greater. Have you noticed how peace returns in your solitude? How your vision clears when the distractions fade? That's because clarity can only be maintained through intentional stillness. The more spiritually awake you become, the more you'll realize not every conversation is necessary, not every connection is divine. Your calling is sacred. Your purpose is specific. Your energy is rare. And you cannot afford to waste any of it trying to fit into rooms that shrink your light. You are not here to be busy. You are here to be focused. Look at Christ before his crucifixion. He didn't fill his final days with the crowd. He withdrew to the Garden of Gethsemane, alone, in agony, but in full communion with the Father. Luke 22:41 tells us, "And he withdrew from them about a stone's throw and knelt down and prayed." He knew the mission required clarity, and that clarity only came in silence. So, chosen one, let me ask you, what distractions are trying to steal your focus? What voices are whispering confusion where God has already spoken clarity? Who are you still holding on to that heaven already released? The deeper your calling, the narrower your path. And the more potent your assignment, the more precise your focus must be. You are not here to be everything to everyone. You are here to walk the path only you can walk. So when the crowd calls but your spirit pulls away, listen to your spirit. When the door opens but your peace disappears, trust the absence of peace. When the noise rises and your soul hungers for stillness, honor that hunger. The Most High is not just your God, He is your guide. He is whispering divine instruction that requires your full attention. He has set you apart because you carry keys that unlock deliverance for others. Your hands were made to break chains, but your vision must remain clear to see which chains to break. 2 Timothy 2:4 reminds us, "No one serving as a soldier gets entangled in civilian affairs, but rather tries to please his commanding officer." You are a spiritual soldier, and your commanding officer is calling you to stay focused on your mission, not the distractions. So trust the isolation, protect your empathy, guard your energy, sharpen your clarity. You are being shaped in stillness so that when the world finally sees you, you will be ready. Chosen one, have you ever looked around and wondered why others seem to be moving ahead, getting the opportunities, finding community, stepping into success, while you are left in silence, in waiting, in what feels like delay? Have you cried out, asking why your breakthroughs take longer, why your doors open slower, and why your path feels lonelier? What if I told you that this delay is not a punishment, it is preparation? Divine timing is rarely comfortable. It doesn't bend to human expectations or societal milestones. It doesn't follow the clock you've set in your mind. It moves by divine intelligence, and its rhythm is holy. Ecclesiastes 3:11 declares, "He has made everything beautiful in its time." But you must understand, it is His time, not yours. Your life is not governed by the ticking clock of the world. It is governed by the pulse of purpose. While others are sprinting ahead, trying to force their way into rooms they're not ready for, you have been hidden, not because you were forgotten, but because you are being fortified. The Most High is not just preparing your blessing, He's preparing you to carry it. And chosen one, this preparation requires separation. It requires delay. It requires divine silence so you can hear heaven's whispers clearly. You have been removed from circles that once felt safe, pulled away from familiar environments, and disconnected from people who once walked closely with you. Why? Because what God is doing in you cannot be mixed with energy that would contaminate your calling. It was never about rejection. It was about redirection. Isaiah 55:8-9 reminds us, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways." You may not understand it now, but everything is unfolding exactly as it should. Have you noticed the pattern? How just as you were stepping into deeper levels of spiritual awareness, certain people vanished. That timing was not coincidental. It was surgical. It was heaven filtering your environment. The divine does not allow interference at the point of elevation. And yes, the wait is painful. Watching others flourish in connections while you sit in solitude can feel like being forgotten. But look again. What if your solitude isn't stagnation? It's sacred preservation. What if the silence is not the absence of movement, but the sound of spiritual construction? Think about Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, thrown into prison, and forgotten. But in that isolation, God was preparing him. When the time came, Joseph didn't just rise, he was positioned to save an entire nation. Or Nelson Mandela, locked away for 27 years, seemingly discarded. But when his moment came, he led with wisdom and clarity that only solitude could have formed. And consider Florence Nightingale. While others pursued popularity, she spent years in hidden study, fighting for better medical care in silence. When the world was ready, she stepped forward as a reformer who transformed global healthcare. Her waiting was not wasted, it was strategic. You, chosen one, are being held back so you can be launched forward at the appointed time. The masses move fast, but the chosen move right. Habakkuk 2:3 tells us, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not delay." Heaven is never late. Your timeline may feel stretched, but eternity never rushes. And God's promises are never early or late. They are precise. So, what if the delay you dread is the very thing that's ensuring your success doesn't crush you? What if the wait is building the patience, the humility, the depth of character that your mission requires? What if the timing is your training? Chosen one, you don't just need the promise, you need the power to sustain it. And that power is being developed in this hidden season. That's why divine interruptions came. That's why certain plans fell apart just when you thought they were coming together. That's why some relationships cracked under pressure when you needed them most. These were not failures, they were filters. God was stepping in to protect you from what looked like a blessing but would have become a burden. This is why trust is so vital now. Psalm 37:7 urges us, "Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him." Stillness isn't inactivity, it's surrender. It's spiritual strength in disguise. As your spiritual awareness has grown, so has heaven's protection. You may have noticed the divine rearranging your life, clearing your schedule, removing noise, thinning your circle. And the truth is, the higher you go, the smaller your circle becomes. But this is not loneliness, it is consecration. You're not waiting for life to happen. Life is waiting for you to be ready. And readiness isn't about action, it's about alignment. The divine is aligning your character with your calling, your anointing with your assignment, your identity with your inheritance. You are being forged in the fire. Every quiet night, every unanswered prayer, every delayed breakthrough is shaping you into someone who can carry both the weight of spiritual power and the burden of leadership. This is why the world seems to move ahead while you sit in stillness. You are not forgotten. You are being fitted for greatness. So let me ask you, chosen one, what if everything is on schedule, even the silence? James 1:4 says, "Let patience have her perfect work, that you may be perfect and entire, lacking nothing." God doesn't rush masterpieces, and you, chosen one, are heaven's masterpiece in progress. When the appointed time comes, you will rise, not confused or desperate, but clear, bold, and divinely equipped. And the world will wonder, where did this person come from? But heaven will know. You came from the quiet, from the secret place, from the sacred timing of the Most High. So don't despise this delay. Don't curse this cocoon. It's not denial, it's development. You are being sealed, strengthened, and set apart for a purpose so great it demanded supernatural timing. Soon you will emerge, not as someone needing validation, but as someone commissioned by God Himself. And when that happens, everything will make sense. Until then, remain still. Stay aligned. Honor the pace of heaven. Because when the time of your revealing comes, no man, no enemy, and no force on earth will be able to stop it. You are the chosen one. And your time is coming, right on time. Now, as we prepare to bring this message to a close, let us seal this wisdom with a word of empowerment and divine remembrance. There is one final truth you must carry with you, not just in your thoughts, but deep in your spirit, as a flame that cannot be extinguished. Chosen one, hear this clearly. You have been set apart, not cast aside. You have been hidden, not forgotten. Every chapter of loneliness, every door that closed, every name that walked away from your life. It was not rejection, it was divine preservation. The Most High never left your side. In the silence, He was working. In the darkness, He was shaping. In the waiting, He was preparing you to walk in realms others will never touch. You are not meant to blend in. You are meant to break through. You are not meant to please the crowd. You are meant to shake the system. You were not chosen for comfort. You were chosen for greatness. So rise, chosen one. Step forward into the sacred fire of your purpose and know this. Your path is protected, your timing is perfect, and your soul is being led by the hand of God. If this message spoke to your soul, if it reminded you of who you are and whose you are, then let it echo across this platform. Comment 111 below to declare that the chosen ones are rising. Let your voice be a beacon for others still wandering in the dark. Subscribe, stay connected, and continue walking with us, because this journey is far from over. What's ahead will require faith, fire, and focus, and we will rise through it together. And to all of you who have stood with me on this sacred message, thank you. Whether you've been here from the beginning or just found your way here today, your presence means more than you know. To those of you who feel led to support this mission through a super thanks, I want you to know your generosity helps us keep delivering divine messages across the world. But whether you choose to give or simply watch in silence, please know this. You're appreciated deeply, truly, eternally. This message was for you. And now I send you forward with a blessing. May the Most High bless you with discernment that sees through deception. May your spirit remain aligned with heaven's timing. May your strength be renewed in every moment of doubt. May your calling become louder than your fear. And may your light never be dimmed, no matter how dark the world becomes. Stand tall, chosen one. You were not created to be average. You were created to shift atmospheres. You were born to carry a kingdom. And your time is no longer coming. It's here.